to another Cottonwood Public Library family craft. It's a nice cloudy day, and I hope we get some rain. That would be nice. So I have a couple of fun stories for you, and then a fun kind of holiday craft for you. We're going to be doing some scratch art, and so here's a sample of one, a little Christmas tree here. And then Miss Sierra, one of our part-timers, did this one on one of our square paper plates that we have. The only supplies that you'll need are crayons, some black tempera, or you can use acrylic paint. I'm using this washable paint. It's like school paint. I don't even know what it's called. It's called Little Masters Washable. Anyway, this stuff is great. But here's another sample of a scratch art that we did. So we do the crayons, the paint, and then we have some kinds of tools for doing scratching. Either popsicle sticks. This was a plastic needle from when we do a little bit of yarn work with kids in crafts. Toothpick or a paper clip. Okay? But I have a couple of stories first, and this was a really fun one here. It is called Harriet and George's Christmas Treat. This is by Nancy Carlson, and Nancy Carlson has a lot of fun books here at the library, so you can look her up on the catalog and see what kinds of fun books that she has. But this is Harriet and George's Christmas Treat. It was almost Christmas. Harriet and George were going shopping when they saw Ms. Who's-It leave the grocery store. This is Miss Who's-It right here. "Hi, Miss Who's-It," said Harriet. "Hi, kids," said Miss Who's-It. "No time to talk. I'm off to do my holiday baking. Now, be sure to stop by later for a Christmas treat." Miss Who's-It rushed away. "Oh no, Miss Who's-It is going home to bake," said George. "That can only mean one thing," said Harriet. "Miss Who's-It is making fruit cake." "Remember last year when Miss Who's-It made us try a piece right in front of her," said George. Oh, thank you. So I like fruit cake, but apparently Harriet and George do not. "Yuck, it tasted awful," said Harriet, "and I almost broke a tooth." "Remember when you dropped Miss Who's-It's fruit cake on your foot?" said Harriet. "Ouch, that really hurts," said George. That must be an older fruit cake. "But it worked great for cracking nuts," he said. "I'll never forget the time we used the fruit cake to play football," said Harriet. It almost hit your little brother," said George. "That was a close call," said Harriet. "Wow, fruitcake can be dangerous." "There's only one thing for us to do this Christmas," said Harriet. "Avoid Miss Who's-It and her fruitcake," said George. On Monday, when Harriet and George saw Miss Who's-It shoveling, they pulled down their hats so she wouldn't recognize them. On Tuesday, when Harriet was helping her dad put up Christmas lights, Miss Who's-It looked out her window, so Harriet ducked behind a bush. They are really trying to avoid her. For the rest of the week, Harriet and George hid from Miss Who's-It. By Friday, they were exhausted, but it was worth it to avoid Miss Who's-It's fruitcake. On Christmas Eve, they saw Miss Who's-It invite Harriet's brother Walt in for a Christmas treat. "Poor little pup," said George. "Soon he'll be eating fruitcake," said Harriet. When Walt finally came out of Miss Who's-It's house, Harriet asked, "How was the fruitcake?" "Yummy fudge!" "Miss Who's-It made fudge this year," said George. Before Walt could answer, Miss Who's-It opened the door. "Well, there you two are," she said. "Come in for a Christmas treat." "Okay," said Harriet. "Fudge," whispered George. "I made a big batch of fudge this year," said Miss Who's-It. "Oh boy," said Harriet. "But I could never find you two. And my fudge is all gone now. But don't worry, I still have a Christmas treat for you." "Last year's fruitcake. Eat up and Merry Christmas," said Miss Who's-It. All right. And then I have another favorite. "If you take a mouse to the movies." So you probably have seen Laura Numeroff's books before. If you give a moose a muffin, if you give a mouse a cookie. And this is "If you take a mouse to the movies." Look at all that popcorn. "If you take a mouse to the movies," look at that. "If you take a mouse to the movies, he'll ask for some popcorn. And when you give him the popcorn, he'll want to string it all together. Then he'll want to hang it on a Christmas tree. You'll have to buy him one. On the way home, he'll see a snowman in your neighbor's yard, and he'll want to make one of his own. Then he'll need a carrot for a nose. When he's all finished, he'll decide to build a fort, and he'll ask you to help him." Looks like he made a snowman mouse.
Oh, nice fort.
Yeah. Then he'll want to make some snowballs and have a snowball fight. Playing outside will make him cold. He'll want to go inside and curl up on the couch. He'll ask you for a blanket.
Makes sense.
Once he's nice and cozy, he'll want to listen to Christmas carols. You'll have to find some on the radio. And he'll probably sing along. The carols will remind him of his Christmas tree, so he'll want to make some ornaments. You'll get him some paper and glue, and he'll ask you for glitter. When the ornaments are done, there is glitter everywhere. Look at that. He'll hang them all up. Then he'll stand back to look at the tree.
That's pretty.
Isn't that cute?
Oh no!
He'll notice his popcorn string is missing. So he'll want to make another one, and he'll ask you for some popcorn. And chances are, when you give him the popcorn, he'll want you to take him to the movies. And that's if you take a mouse to the movies.
Kind of like having a toddler.
Yep. Okay, so when you do this craft, you can use construction paper. You can also use cardstock. You can also use a plain paper plate, because a paper plate is round, kind of has a little frame around it. This is a square paper plate. Notice it has a little frame around it. You can do a picture like on the inside. Whatever you do, you want to make sure it's white, because you're going to be putting a lot of colors on here to get your scratch design out of it. And when you put your colors on, you're going to be using crayons. The wax from the crayons is what's going to help you do your scratch art. So you're going to want to put as much crayon as heavily on there as you can. And I've lost my yellow that went all the way down to the bottom.
That always happens. Remember when you get that one stuck at the bottom, you take everything out and...
I may have to turn it upside down.
I have memories when I see you do that. It's like, yep.
There it is. There's my yellow. I wanted to use yellow. There's yellow. Not much left. I'm going to have to get some more. Now, I've kind of experimented with this a little bit. And what you want to do, I found some things online. And I'm going to show you that. Notice how there's different colors all over the place on this sample. And then I wanted to show you some different things you could do besides something like a Christmas tree. Cool. So here's like a snow globe. And you could do this with a round paper plate and have the inside round part be the globe. So anyway, that's nice. But you want to get as many colors all around as you can. So this one here, what I did was I colored blue on the top and white on the bottom because I wanted snow. Well, of course, when I scratched my Christmas tree, it's blue on the top and white on the bottom.
It's almost like a woodcut.
Yeah, it almost is like woodcut.
Like if you can't, if you're afraid of getting your hands cut with wood, this is the next thing.
So what I did with this one is I did a few more patches of color all over to get, you know, like all the ornaments and the colors like on the Christmas tree. Okay. I'm going to be scratching this one a little bit later, and I'll show you how I actually did smaller patches of color all over, so it's going to be a little bit brighter than some of the samples I showed you. But let's start with this. I'm just going to be coloring as hard as I can with my crayon. You want to try to make it as thick as you can. So I've started with some yellow. There's some yellow patches, and I think I'll do some blue next. Okay, and you want to keep doing this till this all gets filled up with as many colors as you can come up with. And I'm pressing really hard when I do this. Okay, so I've got some kind of chartreuse color and yellow and blue. I think I'll put some purple down. And go ahead and color right up to another color that you've already put on. Color in between some colors. Okay, see it's starting to get filled in. There's a bright red. We had some little girls coloring here yesterday, didn't we, Jan Mark?
It was so nice.
Yeah, if you come over to the youth services door, the sidewalk is all colored. It's really pretty.
Try to come before the rain.
Yeah, before the rain comes, you might want to come and look at it.
But we took pictures and we will put it on our Facebook.
It's going to be on our Facebook too. If you can't get over here.
It was honestly the highlight of my day yesterday.
Was it?
Like it was a long, rough day, and then
Those
I just
girls
sat there,
had
just
fun.
the sweetest thing, and it was just so nice.
They had fun doing that. Okay,
Oh, that's
so you
pretty.
get the idea. You want to fill in this whole space here with as much color as you can and make it as thick as you can. So what I'm going to do is set this aside for a little bit, and I'm going to go to this one that I finished.
That was cool. I like that one.
Yeah, once you are done with this, you want to get your black paint, and I use a sponge brush to paint it on. You want to get your black paint, and you're going to be painting over the whole area that you colored, okay? I might do a little bit more of this to kind of give you an example of what it's going to look like. Okay, so this was all colored underneath, and I painted over with black, and then I wanted to make it look like a nice frame, so I took gold paint and painted around, and then I took a little bit of black and kind of swished it in there to make it look like a kind of a gold lame sort of frame.
Did you make the gold paint, or we literally have
I
gold
had
paint?
gold paint, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So now all I have to do is in this black part is kind of start scratching in some designs. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with, you know, like a Christmas tree design. So I'm going to use a popsicle stick first, and I just have to like press really hard to scratch off the paint. Oh, I broke my popsicle stick. Okay, I'm going to go with the, I'm going to go with the paper clip here. Okay, see that?
So when this is done, is there a way to preserve this?
Yes, we could get like either acrylic spray, clear acrylic spray paint, or an acrylic cover, you know, like
Not a lacquer or a varnish, but
not varnish or lacquer. That might be a little overkill, but probably just the plain acrylic spray paint. You just give it a light once over.
because it would be cool if somehow you could like make plates like that, and then keep them, and then take them out for. Well, you could, so they could be like a cookie tray, or like, you know, not necessarily eat off of it.
Yeah.
The gold does add a nice touch. I'm not gonna lie.
It does, yeah. It's kind of like a nice. Okay, so far this is what I've scratched out.
Look at that.
I'm gonna try a toothpick and see how that works. So I painted this really, really thick, so I'm having a little harder time scratching out the designs, and I keep breaking my wooden scratchers, so I'm going to go back to my paper clip here.
How many coats did you put on of the black over the colors?
This one, I guess I would recommend 2 coats. So that's kind of like what I did on this one.
Because that
here.
came out that's really awesome. I
Yeah,
really like that.
this one I did about 4 coats on it, so it's a little harder, but it is coming off, so.
It's a fun use of like the negative space.
Yeah, you got to think about you're making a design that you're pulling
That's really just-
something off rather than putting something on.
Right.
So negative space sometimes is hard to.
There's some artists
Wrap your
that are
brain
really
around.
good at it, and I'm like, I don't know how you're doing it, but.
And then I could like draw some. Also, it's kind of messy, so the paint comes off.
Right.
But I could draw some like Christmas presents at the bottom here.
And don't forget, everybody, if you want to see all the cool things we've done with Family Craft, when you come to the library, to Youth Services, right around the corner from our front main desk, We have a little nook that has all the crafts we've done this year so far. So you can come and kind of see what it looks like, and if we might have some supplies for you. So yeah, definitely at least.
Yeah, we do. And next week we are going to do
Is it the pine cone one?
pine
It's the
cone.
pine cone.
Yeah, so there's lots of fun stuff, lots of fun Christmas things you can do with pine cones. And so we're going to be showing you how to do some of those things, but if anybody wanted to come by,
We have plenty to share.
we have plenty to share. And I would just come by this even
Saturday?
today if you want.
Today.
Get some, I'll get them out. Okay, so between doing Christmas tree branches and a few ornaments on here,
That's really cool. It's almost like a light bright.
yeah. And again, like I said, I had like 4 layers of paint on here, so it's a little
look
harder
at
coming off
that.
than some of the other ones I did.
But the
But I'm
best
gonna go back to what?
the best part is that you can just keep it for years, and as the kids get older, you can remember when you did this when you were 5.
Yeah.
Those are. I'm really messy when I do those things, so we never did them.
Oh, okay.
I'm just a messy. I was a messy little kid.
Okay, I'm gonna do a few more colors on here, and then I just want to kind of show you the paint part to this. Oh, here's a good color.
So it is recommended to use crayons when you're for the under layer of color.
Yeah, I mean you can use oil pastels if you want.
Oh.
Oil pastels will work, but it's got to be something that has a little bit of oil or wax in it, because when you're scratching off, that's how the color is like coming
Gotcha.
out.
Good to know.
If it was, I mean, I guess you would have to do it because it's resist is what it is. It's wax resist, and so the wax in the crayon resists the
Interesting.
paint, and then you're able to
Interesting.
pull off the black to get the color underneath.
That's really cool.
Okay.
So you could even just put a template over it and scratch through the template, and ta-da!
Yeah, you could probably do that.
I think Mr. Jan's gonna try this weekend. I just love you took the paper plates that we have. It's a built-in frame. Like, come on.
Yes.
Like, it's just hang it up on the wall, boom, you're
Yeah,
done.
and even just a plain paper plate is like that, because it's got the little flutes around the edge, and then you've got the circle kind of thing in the middle. And so you've just got kind of like a nice little frame for a picture, and we use paper plates a lot here for that kind of stuff anyway.
Right.
So,
And so for you older kids who are in college and are decorating your first apartment and have nothing to put on the walls, this is a great way to decorate your off-campus apartment.
there you
'Cause
go.
I probably would have done this when I was in college.
Okay, I'm almost done here. I'm just gonna fill in the last little bit because I want to show how to paint the black paint on. All right, and now there's actually some little white spots that are still in here, which means those are going to be black when I go to pull the paint off. Okay, so my paint is really thick. It's been hanging around for a while. I'll do it like this, and I'm just gonna paint over like this.
Look at that.
Now notice that it's streaking and you can still see some of the color underneath. But what you're going to do is let that dry, put another layer over, and then perhaps another layer. Maybe not as thick as I did. I think I did 4 or 5. So you're going to let this dry, put another over, but you want to paint over all the color that's on here.
And it should dry before you put on your second coat. And
Yeah, if you don't let it dry,
You're
it's
just
just going to
smear it,
keep like
right.
smearing like that. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So anyway, There it is so far.
Look
I'll
at
probably work with
that.
it a little bit more, and then it'll be on display here along with the other ones. But this is crayon resist scratch art, and I hope everybody has happy holidays. Stay warm, but let's get some rain. Stay safe, and everybody take care. And thanks for joining us for Family Craft. And we'll see you next week with some pine cone Christmas crafts. Take care.